Okay, so I was cut out on time, so let's continue. And I actually noticed that I skipped 13 and 14 for some strange reason. So I'm going to go back after I do 20 and do those also. So we have the common denominator, which we had here. And what we did is we actually divided this into this, and my x minus 1's canceled, leaving me with just 4. And 4 times 3 is 12. So that's the first part. Now for this part right here, if we divide it into that, my 4's cancel, leaving me with just x minus 1 times 3. So let's not forget about that. So minus 3 times x minus 1. And then remember that for our denominator, we don't want to multiply anything out, because most of the time when that happens, you're going to mess up your problem. Only in special instances like number 15 did we want to do that. So we have 4 times x minus 5 times x minus 1. Okay, so in this case, you cannot cancel this out with the denominator because there are terms right here. These are two separate terms. It has a 12 minus 3 times x minus 1. But what you can do is distribute this negative 3 to both terms inside the parentheses. So if we do that, we have negative 3x and then plus 3. Negative 3x plus 3. Okay. So now what we can do is we can combine some common factors in our numerator, which will be the constant. So we have 12 plus 3, which is 15. So let's go ahead and just combine it. So we have 15 minus 3x. Okay, apparently that still doesn't cancel anything out, but what you can do is do something to the numerator, and that's factor a 3 out. So if you factor a 3 out, you will get the following. 5 right here. Minus x. Okay. There's another problem because you still can't cancel anything out. Even though this looks very similar to the x minus 5 on the bottom, it's not. So that means that you most likely have to factor out a negative. So if I factor out a negative along with that, this now becomes x minus 5. And if you want to, go ahead and distribute just the negative back in there. What's a negative times x? You should get negative x. And what's a negative times a negative 5? You should get positive 5. So if you do get from the step above, then that means that you factored correctly. Now your x minus 5's cancel, which leaves you with what on the numerator? Right. In the numerator, you're just left with negative 3. And in the denominator, you're left with 4 times x minus 1. At this point, you can direct substitute. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. And you have a negative 3 in the numerator. It's already reduced. So your answer is negative 3 over 16. Or just negative 3/16. Same thing. Okay, let's look at number 20. Number 20, the limit of the square root of x plus 5 minus 3 over x minus 4 as x approaches 4. If you use direct substitution, it's not going to work because it gives you division by 0. That means that you must multiply or factor in some kind of way, and in this case we're going to multiply by the conjugate of the numerator, So we have square root of x plus 5 plus 3. And that's exactly what will be in our denominator. Okay, for the numerator, it will be a perfect square. So what we do is we do first times first. And remember, whenever you multiply something that is the same thing, and especially in a square root, all you do is just pop it out. So this now becomes x plus 5. And then we do last times last. So negative 3 right here times positive 3, which will give me a negative 9. And then, of course, remember, what did I say? Don't multiply anything out in the denominator unless you have to. So we'll just combine it. I'll delete that part. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Now we can combine like terms in our numerator. In other words, these constants. So we have 5 minus 9, which will give me a negative 4. So in the numerator, I now have x minus 4. Okay, so if you notice, now I can cancel the x minus 4's out from the numerator and denominator, which will leave me with just a 1 in the numerator. So now I just have a 1 in the numerator. This will cancel. And now I can do direct substitution. So if I direct sub, I have 4 plus 5, which is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. Plus 3 is 6. So I have 1 over 6 as my answer. Okay, let's go over to number 13. Okay, so I'm going to say this is 3/2. And this is 8x cubed. X cubed minus 27. And then we have 2x minus 3 on the bottom. Okay, so that is what my number 13 looks like. If we try direct substitution, we have 2 times 3/2, which will be 3. Minus 3 gives me division by 0. So that means we have to factor in a fancy way. This right here looks like a difference of cubes. So let's look up the difference of cubes if you don't know it. Difference of cubes. It's a minus b cubed equals a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. But we'll go ahead and show you. Okay, so that's it right there. A cubed minus b cubed is equal to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So what we need to do is we basically need to take the cube root of this right here, and it will go here. And then we'll take the cube root of this right here, and it will be our b. So let's go ahead and do that. So if we take a look, equals okay, so what is the cube root of 8x cubed? Well, I know that the cube root of x cubed is x, because x times x times x is x cubed. But what number multiplied 3 times will give you 8? And that is 2x. So this one is 2x minus, is part of the formula. Now we have to take the cube root of this one, 27. Well, what number multiplied 3 times by itself will give you 27? And that is 3. Okay, so far so good. Now we have to do the other part, which is up here. So in case you didn't get it, it's still right there. A cubed minus b cubed is equal to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, so if we take a look at it, we've already done this. This one is 2x, and this one is 3. The next one says a squared. Okay, so let's go to our problem. Here is a. Well, if I square that, I get 4x squared. The next part says AB, so I have to multiply just A and B together. Here is A, 2x, here is B, 3. What's 2x times 3? 6x. And then the last part says to square B. Well, here is B, it's 3 squared, and you get 9. Okay, at this point, this cancels out right here with the numerator. So let's go ahead and cancel them out. So now you are left with the limit of 4x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay, so if you go ahead and type that in your calculator. So let's go ahead and substitute. So I have 4 times 3/2 squared will give me 9/4. Plus 6 times 3/2. I know y'all don't have calculators, but we don't need one, so we can just go ahead and do it by hand here. Helps you practice with your fractions anyways. And then plus 9. Okay, equals this part right here, cancels out the 4, so that just leaves me with 9. Plus 6 times 3 is 18, divided by 2 is 9. Plus 9, which gives me 27 as my answer. Okay, I know I didn't write the limit in here when I direct substituted, but I was just running out of space. And I think I'm running out of my 15-minute time frame for this video. So very quickly, let's go to the next one, number 14. Number 14 says the limit of 5 times the square root of x minus 8 over negative 6 minus x. Okay, so that's what we have right there. And that one we're approaching 4. Okay, so 5 times the square root of x minus 8 over negative 6 minus x. Let's take a look. Can we direct substitute? I believe we can. So if we direct substitute, we get equals so the 4 goes in here, and the 4 goes here. So let's go ahead and continue. I get, let's see, what do I get for the numerator? I have the square root of 4, which is 2. 2 minus 8 is negative 6, and negative 6 times 5 is negative 30. Then here I have negative 6 minus 4, which is a negative 10. Well, the limit of negative 30